Hello, welcome back to the brilliant world of Tom Gates by Liz Pichon. I'm going to carry on reading today. All Liz Pichon's own work, just reading for entertainment and pleasure. Let's get going. In class, Mr. Philemon appears to be in good mood, despite me only just making it to school on time and forgetting my review homework again. Today we're going to be making models of pyramids, which sounds like fun for a change. He puts us into groups. I'm with Norman, Amber, Pansy, Idrani, and Solid. I have to move tables. Solid has a good idea for the shape of the model. It should be sort of pyramid shaped. Genius. Idrani draws a card template and Amber cuts it out. Then we all help to cover it in balloon paper, which makes a nice and sturdy model. Everyone is working together really well, unusually for Class 5F. Our pyramid is actually starting to look a bit like, well, pyramids. Mr. Philemon's attention is on Mark Clump's group, who aren't doing so well. Then Norman starts to get bored. He gets bored easily. Let's make a mummy, he suggests. Great idea. Norman gets 6 loo rolls from the school toilet and tries to wrap up Solid, but there's not enough paper to cover him. He's too big and tall. So we use Norman instead. He's smaller but a lot more fidgety. Keep still, Norman, I tell him. It's not so easy covering his legs and head with loo roll. When he's finally mummified, Norman starts walking around with his arms stretched out like a real mummy. He makes whoa, whoa noises. It's very realistic. He's good. He's scaring Amber. Ah! Mr. Philemon looks over to see what we're up to. Suddenly, Mr. Keene, the headmaster, bursts into the classroom. On one of his little visits, Norman is still behind the door. He doesn't move. Mr. Keene asks about the school trip and admires our pyramid work. Whoa, whoa. What is that strange moaning noise? The class start laughing. Whoa, whoa. There it is again. Mr. Keene's face starts to hover around the getting cross colour on the redometer when he's called away by an announcement from Mrs. Mumble. And as Mr. Keene closes the door, everyone can now see Norman making noises and pretending to be a mummy. Whoa, whoa, including Mr. Philemon, who's not in such a good mood now. It's been an eventful day at school. Caretaker Stan replacing the toilet rolls, and there's a picture of him. I can't wait to meet Derek's new puppy now. He's very cute, unlike Derek. Although I can see slight similarity from the picture he emailed me. We let him run around my house into Delia's room, where he chews a few pairs of sunglasses and jumps on her bed. Good dog. Delia is furious, but she has to keep a distance because she's allergic to dogs. Derek and I are busy practicing some new Dog Zombies tunes. Derek's dog is howling along, when Dad pops his head around the door. He wants to know if we need another guitarist for the band. We don't. He says things like that in a jokey kind of way, but sometimes I think he really means it. Dad reminds us about the concert next week. Apparently, Delia's not coming with us because she's going with friends. I thought she has a boyfriend, which is a horrible thought. At least she won't be able to spoil my fun like usual. Uncle Kevin, Auntie Alice, and the twins are meeting us at the concert. I feel sorry for anyone who ends up standing behind the twins. They won't see a thing. Derek and I discuss wearing our Do Through t-shirts. Must check what Dad plans to wear just in case it's too embarrassing. It will be. Tom, where is your homework? Mr. Philemon is in a really bad mood today. I keep forgetting to bring in my review homework. I'm going to get Nava's attention at this rate. He's not pleased at all. Plus, we have parents' evening tonight. I forgot about that as well. Now, Mum and Dad will be the last parents to see Mr. Philemon because I didn't bring my form. Being last will give them far too much time to look at my work and chit-chat to everyone, teachers and other parents. It will be awful. Mr. Philemon gives us today's work. Class 5F, today I'd like you to write a piece about your hobbies, anything that you do outside of school. Sports, music, swimming, singing, do you collect stamps, do you like drawing? Why did you start the hobby? What does it mean to you? Do you need any special equipment? Have you won any prizes? Would you recommend this hobby to anyone else? Write at least an A4 page, please, Mr. Philemon. Hobbies. My hobbies are annoying Delia, being in a band, and eating caramel wafers. I could write a whole A4 page on annoying Delia, but I'm not sure that's what Mr. Philemon had in mind. What to write, what to write. I know, I'll make up a more interesting hobby for me to do. Something funny. Good idea. We spend most of the day sorting out our classroom and getting our books ready for parents' evening. Marcus leaves his books out on his desk while he goes to the toilet. Mistake. I slip a few drawings I've done in between the pages of his work. That should make parents' evening more interesting. Mr. Fullerman is a pig man by Marcus. My parents are thick. Ha ha ha. Mr. Fullerman is an idiot. Ha ha ha. Parents' evening. Mum and Dad, as predicted, are not happy that they'll be the last parents to see Mr. Fullerman. It's a bit weird coming back into school in the evening, especially when the classroom is all clean and tidy, not like normal. Mr. Fullerman is wearing a suit and looks uncomfortable. Dad is wearing a terrible t-shirt, so I beg him to leave his jacket on. Shame. Mum insists on looking at every piece of work up on the walls. Worse still, she keeps talking to teachers that I don't have lessons with, and parents of kids I don't even know. It's so embarrassing. I spot Solid, who doesn't look happy. He just looks like his dad, though. Parents' evening sucks, he whispered. I agree. Then I see Amy. Her parents are with Mr. Fullerman already. They are both smiling and laughing. No problems with Amy's work, then. Dad says he's got Amy's due 3 tickets in his pocket, and he could give it to her folks now. Folks? Don't say folks, please. So we wait for them to finish. Then Dad strikes up a conversation with Amy's dad about music in a really loud voice. Amy rolls her eyes and looks at me. Sorry, I say, and we both have to stand there and wait for our parents to stop embarrassing us. They chat for ages about all kinds of rubbish, and Dad forgets to give them the tickets after all that. Finally, when Mr. Fullerman has seen all the other parents, it's our turn. Ugh, groan. He brings out a folder that's full of letters. Can I start with Tom's letter from home, he says. Not Mum and Dad look a bit puzzled. Not the letters, no. I've been rumbled. Mr. Fullerman, poor Tom has got a cold and can't do sports outside ever. Love from Rita Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, please can Tom be excused from his spelling this week? He's had a difficult week. Family stuff. Thanks, Rita Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, Tom has been helping his sick grandmother and has not been able to do his homework. Sorry, Rita Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, Tom's delayed homework was due to his sister being nasty to him and not letting him use the computer. We have told her off. Thanks, Frank Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, Tom has been helping his sick grandfather and has not been able to do his homework. Whoops, Frank Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, please can Tom be excused from swimming? He is allergic to water, crossed out, chemicals in the water. Thank you, Rita Gates. It's not good to start parents. It's not a good start to parents' evening. What can I say? It worked for a while, but the good news is I'm doing well at art and English. Spelling is only so-so. Could improve at maths. Could do better at science and history. Good at PE. It's not all bad. Room for improvement, Mr. Fullerman says. They have a nice chat about me, like I'm not there. I smile and agree not to 1. Chat so much, 2. Doodle so much, 3. Fake letters from home again. Generally, I'm okay kid. It's a reasonably good parents' evening. Then Mum and Dad both read My New Hobby, which is completely forgot about and goes horribly wrong. From the looks on their faces, I can see they're not happy. My New Hobby by Tom Bates. My mum and dad like to use pocket money as an extra way of making me to do things I'm not very keen on doing. For instance, tidy your room or no pocket money. Eat your vegetables or no pocket money. Be nice to your sister or no pocket money. Which I think is possibly against my human rights. If that's not bad enough, Dad seems to take great pleasure in placing my money on the very high places like doors, shelves, and anywhere I can't easily reach. When I do finally get my hands on it, Mum often borrows it back to buy milk and newspapers. Emergency money, is what she says. I discovered my new hobby completely by accident. Fed up and listening to Mum and Mrs. Fingal, Derek's mum, chit-chatting outside the shops for what seems like hours, I sit on the pavement and look really bored. My legs ache too. When someone walks past me, he drops some money into my lap. Real money. It's brilliant. I think they must feel sorry for me. So I put an even sadder face and someone gives me another £1. By the time Mum and Mrs. Fingal have finished talking, I've made £3.70 all on my own, which gets me thinking, what if I use a shakily written sign like this: "Please help me," and wear some old worn out clothes. So I give that a go too, and sure enough, I make even more money. The great thing about my new hobby is you can do it anywhere, and you get to meet lots of different people. And now I don't have to rely on mum and dad for my pocket money anymore. It's a hobby I would recommend to everyone. I'm also in a band called Dog Zombies, but we don't make any money at all yet. The end. You've been begging? I can't believe it. Mum and Dad kept looking at me and shaking their heads. I wasn't begging, it's just a story. On the way home, they reminded me again that not everyone is as lucky as you, Tom, and begging is no joke. I'm trying to convince them that I was not begging. I tell them I was using my imagination. I would never beg, ever. It was just a story, pretending. Ha ha ha. I think they believe me now, phew. Dahlia hears Mum and Dad talking about my parents' evening and how they thought I'd been begging. She suddenly comes over and offers me a caramel wafer, even though I know she's up to something. I stupidly go take it. I hear you're good at begging. Beg for the wafer then, she says, and wafts the wafer in front of me. I want that wafer so badly that I actually say please, and she says say pretty please, so I say pretty please. It's so humiliating. I can't hear you, pretty please. Then to my surprise, Delia actually hands over the wafer and goes off laughing. It's only when I try and open the wafer that I realise I have fallen for the old empty biscuit wrapper trick. Very funny, Delia, very funny. I suddenly feel inspired to write a new song. When Derek comes round later, I show him a song I've just written for Dog Zombies. He likes it a lot. Delia's a weirdo. Who's that weirdo over there, dressed in black with greasy hair? You can't trust her. She's not nice. She's got a heart, just a block of ice. Delia. Delia's a weirdo. Delia. She's a geek. Delia. She's a weirdo. Delia. She's a freak. Delia's grumpy. Moo. Don't let her stand next to you. Big black glasses hide her eyes. She really smells and that's a lie. Back to school. Tom, I'm still waiting for your homework. I got carried away practicing Deli as a weirdo. It's sounding really good. I've written a few more good verses. We'll have to do homework tonight. Before Do 3 concert, I'm so excited I can hardly concentrate. Marcus is going on and on and on about his VIP tickets. Shut up, Marcus. Even Amy is fed up with him. Mr. Fuller reminds us that Do 3 is not the only concert coming up. How did he know about Do 3? Don't forget about the school concert, he tells us. When Mr. Filliman starts the lesson, I'm trying to work out how many hours it would be before the concert starts. Loads, too many. The clock in the classroom doesn't seem to be moving at all. This is the longest lesson Mr. Filliman has ever given us. We start staring at the clock and it's definitely not moving. The more I stare, the slower the time goes. And Mrs. Mumble keeps interrupting the lesson with announcements so that no one can understand. Hello, can please come to the office, Mr. Fullerman, thank you. Did anyone understand that? Mr. Fullerman asked. Then she says it again, but no, it's no clearer. The lesson is never going to end. Mr. Fullerman leaves the classroom to check what's going on. It might be important, he says. While he's gone, I have a brainwave. I stand on the table and move the hands of the clock forward till the lesson is nearly finished. This goes down with my classmates. Hooray! 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 Mr. Filliman looks slightly confused when he comes back. He checks his own watch. Is the clock fast? No, Mr. Filliman. Has anyone touched the clock? No, Mr. Filliman. He noticed the clock is slightly wonky on the wall. Mr. Filliman is not convinced. He stands on a chair to put the clock back into the right time. Just as Mrs. Mumble makes another announcement, it makes Mr. Filliman jump and he wobbles off the chair onto the floor. It's a disaster. We'll never get out of this lesson at this rate. Not that I'm being unsympathetic, but this is turning out to be the longest lesson ever. Mr. Filliman is wincing in pain and takes twice as long to do or say anything, and the rest of the day doesn't go any faster. It's like someone knows it's the concert tonight and is deliberately slowing the world down. Maths is a drag, PE takes forever. I'm getting changed out of my PE kit in the sports changing rooms when there is another really loud noise that starts blaring out of the speaker. Not Mrs. Mumble this time, something even louder. Mr. Filliman says it's a fire alarm drill. Leave everything and exit the ordinary in an orderly fashion. Don't run, go outside. I managed to grab my shoes and follow everyone outside to the playground, even though we have to wait for the register to be taken and wait for all the other classes to come out. Time suddenly seemed to be flying by, mainly because Marcus has left his trousers behind and is standing in the playground in just his pants. Mrs. Knapp gives him a jumper to tie around his waist. Now it looks like he's wearing a skirt. It's the funniest thing I've seen in ages. Mr. Fullerman says we can all go home slightly earlier now. Hooray! I'm telling Derek all about what happened to Marcus on the way home, especially the jumper skirt bit. When he tells me he's got a proper name for his dog now, I try to guess what it is. Rocky? Rover? Fang? It's Rooster, he says. Rooster, that's a kind of chicken, isn't it? You're naming your dog after a chicken. I suppose he'll get used to it. Do 3, here we come. And I'm going to stop it there for the Do 3 concert. Thank you again for listening. I do find this book quite funny. I don't know if you can hear me chuckling in my voice there, but it is rather funny, this book. Do really enjoy it. So I hope you're enjoying these videos, and I will see you till the next one. Thank you, and bye, guys.